Hi pedalers, and welcome to another pedal preservation, and welcome to another Specialized Rockhopper. This is possibly the worst condition bike that I have actually started work on. As it is, this is actually after I've even jet washed it. These are the pictures of what it actually looked like before I even started, so it's like it literally been left round the back of somebody's shed. But as I always say with these sorts of things, especially on a high-end bike, it's always going to be savable. It just comes down to what you're prepared to do. And of course, in my case is, yes, the bike is free, but we're going to probably have to put some money into this one. Now, I've had a little look over it, and yeah, everything is just stuck and seized. Some of it will be salvageable, some of it won't. So ultimately, the more money I put into it, the more money I'm going to have to get a return on it. But as always with these sort of things is, well, unfortunately, my time just doesn't cost anything. So, best thing I think to move forward is I'm just going to start breaking this bike down and start cleaning all the individual parts that can be saved, can go back in. I was toying with the fact is, and I've done it before, whether maybe to convert to a 1x, but I'm not sure because it's a 9-speed cassette and you should get away with a 1x on a 9-speed cassette. So that's something I'm toying with, although I did do it on a bike before and then ultimately for selling converted it back again. But yeah, let's get tearing down. Right, quick releases. Well, I'd expect it to have been. What I think I will do though, if I'm sticking with the 26-inch wheels, which obviously I will have to, I think I'll go for the oversized tires. I think these are 2.1s, but I think we'll go up to the 2.35s. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, lots of background noise today, guys. My garage, it's a crazy hot day, and it's really hot. I've got the garage door open to keep it cool, and obviously somebody's out there hoovering their car, of all the times. Amazingly enough, there's actually a quick link, although I did run the chain checker on it, and it is, unless my chain checker's not working right, I think this chain is going to be roached, but we'll put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and see what it comes back with. But I think as this is going to be a big spendy bike for the cost of a 9-speed chain, I think we'll probably be putting one on it, but we'll see how it goes. But this thing is pretty gummed up. As with everything else that will fit in the, now I'll just get everything, all the small parts and all that, just get them all in the ultrasonic cleaner. I should have, don't know why I didn't cut the cables first, which is always normally what I'll do, because obviously the bike will get a full set of cables. Right, we will, well, I'm just going to cut all the cables because everything's going to get changed, outers, inners, visors, just everything's going to, we're going beast mode on this one, I do think. It looks like a good bike, and I literally just finished selling a Specialized, and I sold, it was an older Rockhopper, full rebuild, everything, had new tires, bottom bracket, oh my god, it was all singing, all dancing. I will post a picture of it now, and I sold it for 125 quid. I know, oh my god, the interest I had in that was insane. I listed it up on Marketplace, and yeah, it went. The weird thing is, I had loads of inquiries, stupid offers, like I'm selling it for £125, it is clearly worth way more, and people are like, oh, you take 100 quid, and I was just like, no. And then eventually somebody says, right, you know, if it's as you say it is, I'll come down and get it. And I was like, yeah, fine, you've got first dibs on it. And oh yeah, I mean, the guy obviously came down and got it, but I mean, oh, see, by the time he came, jeez, the amount of inquiries, just folks saying, I'll have it. I ended up with like a crazy reserve list. I even marked on the for sale thing, it's pending now. I still had messages. It was just absolutely insane, obviously making me realize I had well and truly underpriced it. I mean, I had people just think going, is this a scam? You know, is it really this price? And I'm just thinking, yeah, sadly, it really is this price. And I could have got a lot more for it. So I'm sad to say I won't be falling into the same trap with this bike. This is definitely going to be more expensive. All right, let's get cranking. Let's crank those spanners. Oh, God. Blown a glove. These are my new ones as well. They're like extra thick. B&Q, £10 for 50. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that does feel a bit rough. These pedals are actually, I don't know if you can, I'll show you in a minute, but the pedals actually look quite smart. So that's cool. Although I might save them for another build. Boom, off. What I'll do is I'll take the pedal off. See the pedals? Kind of cool. In fact, the Crank Brother ones, they are definitely coming off. I might actually put them on my own bike. But what I'll do is I'll get the pedal off and I'll get this into the ultrasonic. Righty-ho, so grips are definitely roached, so they can come off. I'm actually thinking, I mean, I'm looking at these bars. They don't look, considering the bike, they don't look that great. So I might actually swap them out for something just a little bit more in fitting with a high-end bike. So that just seems a bit strange that these are on that, because they kind of look a little bit like the Apollo bikes you get. Slight issue, I notice this one's got a bent brake lever, but not a massive issue. Right, so I'm going to recable. In the comments, you can tell me what you think. Coloured, I mean, obviously I'll keep the black hoses for the brakes, but I'm just wondering whether to keep the change the colour for the shifter cables. That could be quite cool. So these brake hoses have got like little, I don't know, they're like little rubber doofers that come in it, that the backs to hold the hoses in. Oh, there we go. That's them out. Obviously I knew there was a technique that I wasn't using. Considering I jet washed this bike, to be honest with you, it is not overly clean. But these are just like the little screw-on covers that allow you just to pop the cables out the backs of the shifters. Up on the floor. Now, I thoroughly recommend when you're stripping bikes down, get a big tub and just get all the bits into the tub. The amount of times I have lost parts for bikes, especially if the rebuild kind of goes over a period of time, and then you are basically hunting for parts on eBay. So that is a definite organisational thingy-mabobber. So we'll get all this off. Hiding under there. These can all get serviced separately. Oops, let that drop down. Shifter out. But there we go. I don't know if you can probably see that, but basically that just comes out straight out the back. Easy as pie. One handy thing with paddle shifters. Boom. That'll not be going in the ultrasonic. We'll clean that separately, because if I put in the ultrasonic clean, it'll just take all the lubricant out of it. So we'll just pop that in there. Right lever. Let that dangle. So we'll keep that as a complete unit with the real caliper. I don't want to get into having to re-bleed everything. Oh, there we go. That out as well. Boom. Into the box. Because if I take all the adapters off, and there's all sorts of little catches to stop things moving, I'm worried Oh! Yeah, it looks like there's little clips on here. I don't know if you can hear that going. It's like a little ratchet on each of the screws. A smart little idea. I've inadvertently ended up in the same boat I would have done if I took the adapter off. So what I'll do is I'll put the screws into my box. So what we'll do, most likely we'll be putting new pads, etc. And probably what I will do is bleed the brakes, not doing like a full bleed as in just like a wee top up bleed just to make sure, but I tend to find they're usually fine. Usually, I mean, we've had some really roach bikes at the library, and if they've got hydraulic brakes on, the brakes just work perfectly. You think that they'd be like full of air and moisture and all sorts, but 9 times out of 10 they're absolutely fine. Whoa, that was a wee washer there, so I'll need to remember that's there because that is obviously there for, it's under the mounting bracket, so it's obviously there for alignment. Sorry guys, I forgot to press record and I completely missed taking the bars off, and I was chatting about the bars and what my thoughts of the bars, and then of course I've just managed the camera literally switched off because it wasn't recording. I can't believe I did that. So sorry you missed that. Woo! Right, I am going to lift you off for this because this is crusty. Check out that bad boy. That's going to be fun. Right, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's going to need well cleaned out. Now, I don't know why this is not all just, this should have dropped out and landed on my foot. It hasn't. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the stem seems okay, but that is, the word is ghastly. It is ghastly in there. My mallet's upstairs, right. Give me 1 sec. Oh God, that is clarty. Just needs enough just to get that tapered washer out. Get that lip off of it. There we go. And that comes off. Rather than smashing it down the whole way, you just do that. Right, okay. Yes, as you can see, we have a bit of a rust issue. Yeah, probably going to need to... The main thing is the seats. Are the seats okay? Because if they're okay, you know, keeps the expense down. Right, I'm going to get a wee tub because I'm... No, you know what? I'm putting new bearings in it. I'm not going to be tempted to salvage it. Okay, if it's a cheap build, then yes, I would definitely look into that to save money, but this is not that build. The seats look like they're okay, because I've given them a wee clean out and they don't look too bad. So I would like to not have to take them out. I mean, I've got the tool to take them out, but it's hard to say. I mean, you might be able to see a bit better on the camera, you know, whether the pitting. I mean, that's the bearings that came out of it. As you can see, they're pretty ropey, and if they've been rolling around in there, chances are they could have pitted that. But we'll just have to see. Right. Oh, wasn't too bad. Fingers crossed I don't have to put a new one on. Albeit I have managed to find a source for affordable bottom brackets. Again, it's just all budget, because at the end of the day, the less parts I get to put on the bike or need to put on the bike, I mean, I'm not in this to like make huge money out of it, as long as I can. Ooh. That's nasty. There is your bottom bracket porn. Look at the state of that. Don't get me wrong, I probably put a lot of that in there with the pressure washer, but it just goes to show you though, don't pressure wash your bikes, because that's exactly what you will have. Right, let's give this a wee clean out. Oh, Honestly, God, see this brush from Petey's? Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And the degreaser as well. The only thing I maybe see with the degreaser, because it shoots out in quite a jet, if it didn't do that and it was a bit wider, that would be better. See, what a great idea. Just simple stuff. There's just so many times having the angle on that has just made life so much easier. I'm going to actually tilt the frame a bit because I'm noticing there's water's actually gone up the down tube. And it had done exactly that. Right, that should be that. Let's get some, I'll get a rag through that and then we'll blow it out with the airline. So these muck off microfiber cloths are good. They're not just normal microfiber cloths, they are definitely plusher than normal. So that was the first thing my wife said was, well, I can get them down Asda for like a couple of quid each. And I was like, you know what, I'd rather pay a fiver. They're just that much better. Right, let's have a look. Sealed cartridge unit. Unfortunately, I had a feeling that was going to be the case. I mean, I recently managed to rebuild one of these. I managed to get the, I don't know if it was the same one, but I managed to, I don't know how but I managed to get all the seals and stuff out and I managed to get it all packed with grease, but again, not going to be worth it on this build because this is going to be a good build. So I lifted up the boot because I wasn't sure about rebuilding them, but oh my god, that is what's left of the compression spring. So these dampers are definitely, they're going to need. Right guys, so I've gotten the forks broken down, but you can actually see it looks like actually they have been serviced at some point. It's all nice fresh grease and they're actually quite clean inside. A little bit of wear on the stanchions, but no biggie. Which is strange because the rubber's in such bad condition. Although inside they're fine, it's just the outside that's not so good. So I'm going to try and source these. I'm hoping they're just standard fork seals. Okay, let's give this brake caliper a wee service. See what we're getting on with. I mean, I'll be putting new pads in anyway, but because these, although they're actually life left in them, oh god, they are so manky. But yeah, I mean, I would say they're probably like 50% down, so I mean, it just wouldn't be worth putting them back in. See, we maybe just give it a wee degrease. And then I'll same with the famous Petey's brush. Oop. Any brushes will do. Now I used to have like a little pipe cleaner thing that I could actually get into there, but I don't know what I've done with it. Unfortunately, I don't know what I did with it, which is a shame because it's really good at just getting in there and just getting all the bits and bobs out. But no matter. God, the brake lever just will not play ball. Let's get this wee white down, get the excess off, and then we can always just blast it out. Oof. And that certainly makes a wee difference. See if the pistons are, yeah, see they're pushing out nice and even, so we know that they're okay. So I'm going to see if I can try and get something in there though, but I'll not dwell on that. But the other part of the lever, I've had a wee look at this and this all seems okay. You know, I don't know why it had sticky tape top and bottom on there, but it did for some reason. But overall, condition of that is good. I think once we give that a little clean, we'll touch in the black paint there as well, just to, you know, because I don't think it's worth stripping that down and repainting it. No, I mean, at the end of the day, bike's been used. It's not a brand new bike we're selling here. Okay, as everything else is on simmer, we can get into, yeah, let's get into the wheels. Now, I had a wee feel of them earlier, and It's a bit manky. They did feel okay, but you know what? Because we're going for the high-end build this time, we're going to give everything a good lube. Right. Let's get this cassette off and get it cleaned. In fact, I should have actually put that in the ultrasonic while we were doing the rest of this stuff. We never mind it. We can do it again. Oh. Oh yeah, bugger. Right, I'm just going to drop this on the floor and get a bit more purchase on it. Whew. I will not lie. That was tight. Delivery drivers just come in the street. You need a bit of background music. Hopefully, if I talk over it enough, it wouldn't strike me down by the copyright gods. Right, so I'm just going to put that. Looking at the teeth, they all look pretty good. Right, I'm just going to warm up the ultrasonic cleaner because it works better when it's hot. This we can just do our usual. Clean it down. Right, just get in there. Obviously we've got grease in there, which we don't want to take out too much, but if it's contaminated with dirt, we want to take some of it out, more or less. Actually, I'm not convinced that is dirt. Sorry, is grease. I think that is dirt. I think that is. We kind of just want to get down to where we're at the seal. In fact, because we're going to be rebuilding this, I'm going to blast this out. So ultimately, that will have probably pushed all sorts of crap into the bearings. Right. Right, so just want to get some slack on them. Jeez, why is everything so tight on this bike? Right, again, I'm just going to go down the floor. Got it. There we go. So, what I'm going to do, hand on the back just to stop. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the nut off. And then, oh, tiny little washer. There we go. Garis. Pack this in like a madman. As I say, we're just topping up what's there because actually the hubs were actually pretty good. I'm definitely switching out everywhere. So we'll turn that one to hopefully drive the... Yuck. I'm going to have to turn it from the back. I can't get a purchase on it now. I can really feel that going in now. Stiffens it up for a little bit. Right, so what we're going to do now, whip it round. This is going to be a bit harder to get into. And then we start turning it again to bring this half out. Right, we are really going to struggle to... Gosh, that just doesn't quite drop off. And get in there. Right, let's go. Roll that back in. As I say, if the balls were rough, I'd have gone for a full rebuild, but actually everything was feeling good, so this is just totally a top up. So we need the wee micro washer on. Then the spacer. And then that one with the serrations going out the way. God, still quite a lot of dirt on this hub, just considering I did give this a jet wash. Right, so we're going to tighten this up and hopefully we get it right first time. Yep, no play there. That was actually a bit of a fluke. You don't normally get it right first time. I'll just give it a wee tweak. Check again. Smooth as you like. Now the skewer was a wee bit manky, a wee bit corroded there. So we'll just give that a wee, we're just giving it a wee squirt, and then got some Scotch Brite. Oop. Coating of, let's say I haven't got any copperies, so I'll just use this for anti-seize purposes. I'll wait to put the cassette back on. Right, we are ready. So I put a little bit of grease on there. Cassette all nice and clean, so we can get that slotted back on. I'm just going to give this a quick clean. Another one on here. There we go. Now, got a whole pile of these. So this is the first one, spacer. That. There we go. Next one. Put that there. There we go. And finally, locking ring. There we go. Crank up. Right, as you can see, huge difference. That's all nice and serviced. Done the axle. We can put the we'll put the skewer back through so it's not going to get lost. Now, what I'm going to probably, because I'm going to be changing the tires on this bike, I think, because these ones are all a bit roached along the edge. Basically down here you can see all these marks going around here. So these tires, unfortunately, although there's a bit of tread left on them, they are knackered. I've got some 26 by 2.3 O's coming, so that'll fatten that up. I think it's going to look great on the bike. So I'm going to loosen off these with my 3-way, and then we can just buzz them off with the electric screwdriver. I don't think I'm going to put them back in. I just don't think they're needed. In the brakes, so what I'm going to do is I will sand the discs, so when you use the pads for the first time, it transfers some of the brake material onto the disc. So we'll give all that a nice wee sand. I mean, the condition of the disc is actually totally fine. We'll just give that a wee clean up anyway. And get around here as well. So double hit. As always, my PT brush. Of course, the main reason we've done this, because we obviously have a broken spoke, and this spoke will be going from behind out and in, but I'll need to actually check I've got another spoke. I have got some spokes. I'll need to check I've got the right ones. There we go. Let's get this excess grease off of there. See, that's all lovely and smooth now that we've packed some fresh grease in. You know what, I'm just going to do in the hub while we're at it. Right, we're ready for rubber. Managed to pick up a couple of brand new tyres. We're going a bit fatter, so 26 by 2.3. So I'm hoping this is just going to fatten it up a wee bit. Being a 26-inch wheel, it's just going to give it a wee bit more presence. Right, let's get this back into the slot. Where's my other lever? Oh, there it is. I think this might be a wee bit of fun. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's all on. Front and back. So what the deuce just happened? The frame has been completely repainted along with the forks. I had done a little outro part in the video where I was explaining why I was repainting the frame, but unfortunately I went to look back at it, and as usual the sound hasn't worked. As I now just quickly check my microphone. So the reason I repainted is there was quite a lot of corrosion all over the frame, and it was just enough that it was bothering me. I thought it was going to make an otherwise build not so pleasant. However, what I didn't know was it was galvanic corrosion, and it was actually well under the painting and the metal. So, and all I wanted to do was give it a quick rub down, deal with the corrosion parts, and then repaint it. Turned out to be a complete and utter disaster because the galvanic corrosion was right inside the metal and it was all over it, and every time I painted it, it just reacted. So in the end, I had to completely go right back to the metal, take all the corrosion, etc. out, and then completely repaint it. And during that process, pretty much everything that was going to go wrong with the paint job went wrong as well. I have got it all done. I was filming it, but there was that much going wrong with it. To be honest with you, I don't think it's a video I ever want to make. So the upshot of it is now been completely repainted, lacquered, etc., and it is now ready to go back together. So you'll also see as well, I repainted the forks, some new decals on them, gloss coated them, so they're all ready to go back in as well because they've all been serviced too. So without further ado, we will continue once again with the build. Right, let's get started with the headset. I've got the cups. They've all been rubbed back. I've repainted them a nice satin black to fit in with the theme we've got going, if we have a theme, that is. So yeah, we'll get these plugged back in. So put that bottom bit in, I can dump the top. This is just one of the cheap AliExpress ones. Nothing fancy. Is there better? Yes, most definitely, but I don't know if I actually ever do enough of these to warrant getting a good one. This seems to, I'll be honest with you, it just seems to work. So, no issues there. See, that'll go in nice and flat. I would put them on that way, however, the steps on these adapters don't quite marry up with these cups, and they just don't quite marry up, so it's actually better and flatter just using the plain side. I mean, a lot of people will just make these because it is really just a piece of threaded rod with a couple of massive washers and nuts on it. I mean, there's a bit more going on, and I would probably have gone down that route and made my own one, but I have to say, this one was so cheap. You can actually pay a bit more and get it where it comes with a case and other pieces, and I wish I had done that. I didn't. I think it's about 30 quid that way, where this one was about 15. I kind of regret it because now I don't have anything to keep it in. Plus as well, the other set comes with all the adapters for putting in bearings into frames and stuff, and that actually would have been handy, and I can unfortunately see myself having to buy the whole thing again. When I was restoring the cups, I used a Dremel and a wire brush tool to do the insides of the thing. To be honest with you, they were fine, but I just wanted to clean them up just to make sure. So that's all done, so no issues there. Right, grease. Let's get some grease in here. Actually starting to run quite low. Whoop. Let's try with these guns. See, when you stop, it just keeps going. And then you stop, and then it goes everywhere. Get that one in. I'm just going to use the grease out the pot, nice and sticky, will do the job. No issues there. Right, here we go. This is actually the second time I'm doing this. I got a little bit out of order last time. I wasn't sure what was going in when. Ooh, sorry. Bike racks not sitting flat. First, see, that feels good there. See, and I think that goes in on, that's it. That's it. That goes in on top, and then we have the taper. Just awesome, eh? And then we have the taper collar, which keeps everything tight, and then we have all our spacers. I would think I'm probably going to have maybe not quite to the top. Yeah, you see, I'm starting to wonder if this is actually the stem off the bike, because oh, actually, you know what? I've forgotten to deal with the rust in the top of that as well, so that's a bit of a pain. Yeah, see, I've got one extra collar, but actually that is now fitting on correctly. Right, I'm just going to nick this up, and I think this is not the right stem. I will pause you. Oh, actually, just as I felt that was... Oh, right, maybe it was the right one. There you go. That can go on top. I'm just going to nick that up there now. Right, I'm just going to get some lithium grease in there. I've got that collar on there. And then we can put the top nut on. Get all this in place. Right. It's lovely to smooth that now though, so that's a win. So nether regions now, and we are going to get the bottom bracket in. Brand new gloss bottom bracket. Just put maybe a wee bit extra around here as well. Not that I really need it, but you never know. That's what we'll do. We'll just coat the inside of that just for a bit of rust prevention. Screwed in. Nope, wrong way. Sometimes if you have issues getting this side lined up, what to do is put the back side in first. What it does is when you're putting the bottom bracket in, if it's tilting up or down, it's not going to thread in properly. So when you put that side in, it just gives it a bit of alignment. So if you are struggling to get that side in, put the back side in first. There we go. Just realised where I'd left that. Let's give this a wee torque up. There we go. There we go. Right, cranks. I've given the arms a nice paint, satin varnish, matte black on the main chain ring, although, yeah, it's not going to last very long, but it just gives it a nice wee refresh. Now, of course, I have the whole, can I remember the way it all went? That is the fun part with these things. So I'm just going to say shout out in the comments, like as if I'll be able to hear you, but it'll be too late by the time I figure it out. I'm pretty sure that goes on that way, just so it offsets back the other way. Right, bit of, well, it should be anti-seize, but I don't know what I've done with my anti-seize. Now, I did get a comment on my last video saying, hey, is it a good idea to put lube on the tapers? And well, yes, no, but my thinking is that as the arms are aluminium and the taper is steel, usually you'll always get a little bit of a kind of galvanic corrosion, sort of a reaction between two metals. So they always tend to kind of corrode together. So you put the grease in there just to provide a like a little bit of insulation. That's why typically copperies is the thing to use, because it's another metal insulating the two metals rather than a grease. So that is what I would have preferred to have used. But yes, I've always done it, never had an issue with it. I don't get any creaking or everything. And also as well, when I did my bike mechanics training, that's what we got told to do. So, you know what, it's not my opinion, it's a long-term opinion that you do that. Maybe there is instances where you don't do that. I don't know what that would be. Maybe if they were different materials. But in the case of this, we're doing it. And I've always done it. Oops. Put a coat of paint on the bars at the front. So while I'm waiting all that to dry, we'll just whip back round to the rear and start putting the derailleur, etc. on. Boop, boop. There we go. Another screw. Took all this off because obviously we were painting the frame and this was not going to be painted in, like painting over the screws. That would have been horrendous. Right, let's get this baby on. Nice Dior LX, which is very nice for the bike. What I might need to do, let me just check that. No, yeah, I was just wondering, actually I should have checked the derailleur, but of course we've got to have everything on to do that. But there we go. Right, right, let's start getting this all back together up in the cockpit. Right, I've not long painted this bar, so I'm a bit worried I'm going to just scratch the paint off of it, which I hope not, but or we'll have to. Oh, there we go. So we've got that, and then we've got brake lever, which I'm doing rear first. Yep, doing rear first. Right, I'm going to use these ones. I'm going to just have to find some bar ends to use them on, to use on this. Whoop, God, just everywhere. Right, I'll do, I'll put this on, and actually put the grip on. If there's been any problems there, should I get that the right way around? Right, so I just want a tiny recess on the end for the bar end to go on to, and then we will tack these into place, because obviously I'll need to get all the alignment, well, how I would have it. I mean, obviously I can adjust it for the next person, not a problem, all part of the service. Right, I think I might have to revisit this because I'm kind of feeling this is not right, because when these screws are in all the way, they're going to be coming out the other side, which I feel is not right. See, we have a lot of bolt heads, bolt shafts sticking out here, which I feel is wrong. See, that's caliper, and then I've got, these seem short enough to go through the caliper body, then into the mount, and I assume it will be exactly the same on the front. So that's why I'm thinking the 4 short ones would be for mounting the calipers onto the mounts. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm seeing it, and then the long ones should be these ones going through the body. But I mean, having that much, yeah, actually I've just had a thought, with that sticking out, that's going to hit the disc, so that can't be right. That is definitely wrong, definitely wrong. Right, I've swapped out to the small screws because I do feel they are correct, but I'm going to have to figure out where the long ones actually go, because they obviously belong somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where. Right, I'm going to try the long bolts into the front calipers. We will see what they come back with, see if they bottom out or not, or maybe they were actually the front ones all along. So far so good. Although I kind of feel like we're missing an adapter here. Right, no, we are on the right track. I thought maybe there was an adapter missing, but turns out it is not. This is correct. The caliper goes straight onto the fork. I just thought, you know, normally there's an adapter here, and there wasn't one, and I didn't remember seeing one. So that's okay. Right, we can run up to shifter. Now we might have to open this one. Oh no, this one's going on smooth. So we might have to open it up like the other side. Like that is definitely a wee bit tight. As I say, it might just be the paint on the bars. Right, once again, we need our grip roughly there. Bit of IPA with soapy water, and there you go. Lots of other methods work, but this is the one that I tend to use. It seems to work for me. Now we want to get it so there's still a little bit of, go back a wee bit, just a tiny bit for the bar end cap just to go on there, and that'll be perfect. Right, let's just push all this back again. Just roughly, I mean, see, I'll come back and adjust this to, there we go. That is looking mighty fine. Really starting to take shape now. Oh yeah. Alright, I've just realised I've got the hose going down the outside of the fork, which is wrong. You know what, probably easier taking the brake caliper off. Right, I can now put these back in where they should be, because we've got obviously the cablings all now installed, etc. Now there's a wee slit in the top, and I'm not honestly sure whether that slit goes to the bottom or not. I'm going to just put it on the top, and that goes in there. And there's basically the same thing at the back, which I'll just quickly do. Right, I'm feeling it is time for wheels. So the wheels are all done. I probably need to put a little bit more air in this tyre, but we get this on, we can get things like the calipers aligned, we can get brake pads fitted, all that sort of stuff. So let's tighten this up. Wow, first of it, tyre running nice and through. Right, back wheel on. There we go. Obviously there's a bit of touch in the caliper, but we haven't tightened that up, so we have a bit of play in that, or not. It seems to be touching a little bit. Right, back in the game. I have a fresh outer made up, because that one, it was going through most of it, but just the last bit was not 100%. There we go. This will just make all the difference. Right. So as before, yeah. See, I can kind of shorten them a little bit. Yeah. All right. Now down to the nether regions. Pop that in. We've got to feed it up as well. I think there's that. Yep, there we go. Well, this just makes everything a bit tight to get into it. Right. Apologise if I... Alright, so it's just a pull down, so it's going to be nice and... Saying that, we shoot myself in the foot, nice and easy to get into. Oh no, there we go. So it's just come from below, but we have to get under the plate there. Now, same again. Make sure that shifter's all the way down. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that... Oh no, well... So I'm not going to tighten this, but I'm not going crazy, because I want to be able to come back. Let's see. Yeah, that's working straight away, so no bother there. I'm going for a couple of pedals. They're actually off my giant e-bike that I used to use, which are plastic pedals with plastic studs. But as you can see, when I wore the studs off, I've replaced them with screws, but not the other way around as you normally get, because I didn't want to keep taking my shins off. It was just when I was like commuting to work and stuff. But I've now gone on to other pedals, so I'm going to use these. Of course, can't mind what way round they are. Let's try it. Right. That way, that way. See that going in nice. Feel that when you put the pedals on, you're kind of getting into the last touches. So after this, we should literally be down to adjustments. Right, we're now in gear territory, so let's just... Right, ticking noise is actually coming from the front derailleur, so what I'm going to do, can you see the front derailleur? Right, you can see it now. You probably saw it before. I'm just going to lift up, well, let's shift this into the top one. Right, just so I can hear the back shifting up. Whoop. A lot of noise from the front, and I think, yeah, it's the derailleur bit. You know what? I'm going to put that back down again and just adjust it so it's not tapping. Ideally, so I can get the full range. Just need a bit more tension on the back end. Down. Yep, nice clean change is what we want. A little bit more tension. Come on. Right. Down. Right. So we can get the front to... I mean, the front's actually working fine, albeit I'm looking... If I look down, that's maybe got a very slight angle that way, so I could probably do with slacking off the derailleur and just turning it slightly. Gets so slack it shoots down with the pull of the cable, but enough that can pull it round. There we go. That was all I needed. Just enough. Right. Yeah, that's shifting up and down, no bother at all. But we have got the rattle at the bottom, but we'll be cross-chained at that point. That's the thing. You got to remember, you got to use the full cassette. So if it's, you got the small gear here, you got the big gear on the rear, and same as, so the chain is moving in line with itself. If you end up with the smallest gear here and then the smallest gear there, the whole thing's cross-chained, so you can expect a bit of rattle. Right, do you know what? I actually think we are virtually there. A couple of tweaks and we're kind of good to go. This is too much of a good option. Look what I found. It's not quite dark, but you know what? I don't normally put bottle cages on bikes, but probably in its day it would actually have been exactly the right colour. But sometimes you just need a hook, especially in the thumbnail department. Well, pedalers, what did we make of that one? Well, I have certainly learned a couple of valuable lessons in this build. First one is, don't respray your frame. So much hassle and work, even for like probably a substandard job. But oh my god, when you open that can of worms, you got to be prepared to go the whole way. And this took way longer than it should have been. To be honest, the frame probably wasn't that bad. I should have just left as is. The problem we ran into is there was galvanic corrosion under the paint I didn't know about. So even when I rubbed it all down and repainted it, the paint that went on top kept reacting. I had to take it not only down to the metal, but I then had to rub out all the points that had the little spots of galvanic corrosion in them to make sure it was completely done. So the bike ended up getting painted probably like 2 or 3 times. So that was a bit of a pain. The forks were a doddle. It's like 1 coat of paint and they were done, but the frame was an absolute nightmare. It does look awesome though, I have to say. I love the grey with the red. It's a colour combo I've always liked. I think I'm trying to think, there's a couple of bikes that are running it, a couple of brands. I think maybe Nuke Proof have the grey frames with the red forks. I might be wrong. Anyway, spend-wise, not bad. I put new tyres on it. I put a new chain on it. It is looking like I'm going to have to put a rear cassette on it because I took it for a test ride and the smaller gears are skipping. And I thought it was maybe the chain, but it only does it in those gears. And I've had a look at them. A couple of them are a little bit rounded. They did look fine, but yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to put a new cassette on it. So everything else, to be honest, was fine. Only things I've still got to do. This is actually the saddle off the up-and-coming build I've got for the stump jumper, the full suspension bike, because the saddle that was with us was completely knackered. And then, of course, I was using it to hold the bike while I was painting it, so it got completely ruined. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe as usual. If you like the content, great. Down in the comments with anything, like, Rick, I hate you. Anything will do. It all helps the algorithm.